Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of On the Range in the A-10C Warthog. And today I'm going to start looking at the CCRP, Computer Calculated or Continuously Calculated Release Point bombing mode in the A-10. Now, the CCRP mode is an automatic bombing mode that is going to allow you to designate a point on the ground, and that point will be your sensor point of interest, as a location for the aircraft to steer you to, and have the aircraft automatically release a bomb on that location. You're going to get steering cues in the HUD that we'll see as we get set up and start to come around to the target. And using those steering cues, you'll manually fly the aircraft and let the aircraft do all the work for you and get the bomb onto the target. So let's begin by, and in this video incidentally, I'm just going to do some basic CCRP runs. I think I'll do it twice just as a demonstration, and then in subsequent videos get into different techniques and different indications that you get to fully explore the subject and possibly give you some tips and advice on how to use CCRP bombing more effectively. But to get the aircraft set up for a basic CCRP run, I need to go master arm to arm. I'm going to call up my Dismas, and I need to select a weapon or weapon profile that is suitable for a CCRP delivery. And any bomb that you're capable of delivering in the A-10 will use or is capable of using CCRP. So for now, I'm just going to select the Mark 82 profile. There are several different ways of selecting weapons. I'll just do this one for now, make that the active profile, and go back to the status page. And I also, since this came up by default in the CCIP mode, I need to put it into the CCRP bombing mode. And to do that, I use my Master Mode control button on the right side of the stick. I depress the button until CCRP is displayed on the HUD, and now I'm in the CCRP continuously or computer calculated release point bombing mode. So as I come around into the target area, you're going to see the cues that I'm going to be using to steer the aircraft towards the designated point over the target that I'm going to release the bomb at. The first cue that comes up is my predicted bomb release line, and at the bottom of the PBRL predicted bomb release line is the CCRP reticule or CCRP pipper. And as I get closer and closer to being lined up with the target, I am going to also get an ASL, azimuth steering line. When the ASL, which just came up in the left side of the HUD, comes up, that's going to give you a direction to steer. So ultimately your goal is going to be to align the PBRL with the ASL. So align the two lines. So once you have got established with the lines lined up, now the key is going to be to keep them aligned until the solution cue, and that's the smaller circle up here at the top of the ASL. Keep these two lines aligned until the solution cue falls down the ASL and aligns with the CCRP pipper. Now once we reach about 20 seconds time to release, we're going to get a time to release numeric displayed next to the solution cue. Then as we get about 6 or 7 seconds away from bomb release, you'll see the solution cues start to fall down the ASL, and then the bomb, assuming that you are depressing and holding your weapons release switch, which just a technique, I do it about 10 seconds time to release. Assuming you're holding your weapons release switch, when the solution cue coincides with the pipper, the bomb will be released and impact the target. All things being considered and all things being equal. Now, it's very, very important to note that anytime you're doing a CCRP delivery that is calculating a release so that the bomb will hit your current sensor point of interest, or SPI. And right now I can tell that my targeting pod, so the point on the ground that my targeting pod is pointing, is my current sensor point of interest. Now if I wanted to change it to, like, say for example, let me make my sensor point of interest my HUD TDC that you see slewing around there. So now I can make that sensor point of interest, once I get it down a little bit closer, that is. Now watch what happens when I change sensor point of interest. Right now my targeting pod is still my SPI, but as I make my HUD TDC sensor point of interest, now you see that the ASL kind of popped over to the left a little bit. And I guess to further demonstrate that, as I kind of slew my TDC around, you can see that as I slew the TDC, that it's getting updated steering cues so that the ASL is always going to steer me in the direction of my current sensor point of interest. Okay, so let me come back around and we'll set up for a proper CCRP pass on this target area that I have down here. So I will be right back. And now as I come back around to the target area, and just to recap everything one more time, master arm to arm, I have my bomb selected, and my HUD is in the CCRP steering mode. I have my CCRP reticule, I have my PBRL, predicted bomb release line. So as I continue to steer towards the target, which is designated in my targeting pod, I'm going to get my ASL, that's my azimuth steering line, displayed. And I'm just going to align the aircraft and fly the aircraft so that the ASL with the solution cue at the top is aligned with the PBRL. Okay, and I'm just going to designate on a target down here in my targeting pod, and again my targeting pod is my current sensor point of interest. So this is the location that I'm bombing right now. This little connex out here on this in the middle of this little bombing range. Okay, so as I reach 20 seconds time to release, I'm going to get my time to release numeric displayed up here on my next to my solution queue. And then as I get to about 10 seconds time to release, I want to press and hold my weapons release button or weapons release switch. Once the indication reads 0 and the solution queue is lined up with the CCRP pipper, the bomb will be automatically released on the target. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, weapon away. And that was bombed on my current sensor point of interest, which is this target. Let me go to wide field of view and we'll see how this does. I'm bombing from about 16,000 feet, so I'm not expecting pinpoint accuracy. There are many factors that go into determining how accurate the delivery is. I'm expecting wind to play a very large part in how accurate this run is. So 5 seconds to impact. 2, 1, 0. Okay, and that's right in there on the target area. So the wind probably did affect that a little bit. And I'll do my best to show you some techniques as we get into more and more detail on this to mitigate some of these factors that come into how accurately you can bomb with the CCRP bombing mode. But yeah, from 16,000 feet, using an automatic bombing mode or using any bombing mode at all from this altitude, yeah, I'll take that impact every day. So folks, that's the first video in the, I guess, another little mini-series covering the CCRP bombing mode. So I'll be back at you with a lot more detail and a lot more techniques on how to effectively use this. And incidentally, well, before I forget, I have updated my range. So now, instead of the generic targets down there, I now have some just awesome, authentic range targets down there created by Noodle at the 476 Fighter Group. I'll have a link to the place you can go to download these targets in the description below. And yeah, definitely check them out. A lot of work went into them, and it's a very authentic looking range at this point. So hey, thanks again for watching everybody, and I will see you next time.